Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of the Fishing Teacher, and much appreciated you guys checking today's video out and spend some time with me today. Guys, we're going to be talking about how to catch finicky bass that are highly pressured, bass that are skittish, they're spooky, they don't want to bite. Usually it's a combination of heavy fishing pressure, heavy boat traffic, like heavy recreational traffic. It can be some weather variables like post front, bluebird conditions, not much wind, several different conditions that make the bass really finicky. And there's really a couple different techniques that I want to go over in today's video that will allow you guys to probably do a little bit better under those situations if you encounter them. Also, guys, a quick reminder, I want to let you know about my new Blaukat's Corner up on Tackle Warehouse. We just got the December picks up there. These are lures I suggest for every month of the year. And they also have every lure I talk about has a corresponding video about how to fish that lure. So I'll put my Blaukat Corner link in the description of this video if you guys want to check that out. And please consider hitting that subscribe button here to the Fishing Teacher too. I really appreciate that. Okay, guys, bass are not easy to catch most of the time. You know, the days that you have where they're biting like crazy are few and far between. I don't care where you're fishing at. They just don't always bite really good. And most of the time, especially even more now, so as fishing gets more popular and there's more people fishing, the fish are highly educated and they're finicky. And in my opinion, the number one thing that makes a bass finicky is heavy fishing pressure. Now, the fishing pressure can be in terms of actual people fishing. It can be in the sheer number of boats on the body of water. It can be the noise decibel levels that those boats are creating, whether it be through trolling motor noise or depth finders or whatever. And usually that can be backed up with recreational boat traffic like jet skis. All of that stuff that puts a lot of noise into the water is magnified, because if you guys have ever been underwater diving and you hear noise is just accentuated tremendously underwater. So imagine if you're fishing a lake that has hundreds and hundreds of tournament fishermen and hundreds of recreational fishermen. Imagine how much noise is transmitted under the water, and that makes bass inactive. It makes them finicky and hard to catch. On top of that, the ultimate finicky condition would be that situation backed up like a day we have today, where it's a bluebird sky, post front, north wind. All those conditions make it very tough to catch fish in. Now, there's two different ways that you can counter this in terms of getting actually fish to bite. Number one is you have to downsize to a finesse presentation, or you have to rely on a reaction strike. Now, or a combination of both. Now, the finesse techniques that you want to use are just what they say. Most of the time, these are going to be small offerings like little Ned rigs, little jig head worms, shaky heads, finesse jigs, just any type of a small lure that you can fish slow on the bottom. A lot of those times, those fish, they don't want to come up on a bait. When those conditions are like that, they tend to hunker down on the bottom, especially as the water gets clear. If you have a body of water that has water visibility of over about 3 or 4 feet, and you have those conditions that I told you about, you're pretty much going to have to just finesse them out on light line and spinning tackle with small baits. It's really hard to beat a Ned rig. Ned rig is probably going to be one of your number one baits for a finicky, tough fishing condition, followed up by maybe a 4-inch shaky head, something like that. Something you can work slow on the bottom. A drop shot can be really good too, but if I had one lure to fish, it would be a Ned rig on a very light head, like a 1/16 of an ounce head with 6-pound test fluorocarbon line on it. That'd be my number one choice for those finicky fish in the cleaner water. Now, if the water is more off-colored, say you have water visibility of less than 3 feet, on the opposite end of the spectrum, you can actually trigger those fish into biting by creating a reaction strike by fishing a moving lure really fast, usually a small moving lure. So this would be a good situation to fish a small crankbait, lipless crankbait or a diving crankbait, one of the two, fishing it with a fast stop and go retrieve, trying to bounce it off some type of object like a rock or a wood, a stump or dock piling. And by deflecting that little crankbait at a high rate of speed next to an inactive bass that's finicky, a lot of times you can create a reaction strike out of that entire situation. It's just instinctually that they want to react to a fast moving lure, because they don't, even though they're inactive, they don't want to miss up on an opportunity to eat something if it's there. So that's one of the reasons, you know, that those sort of like, they're polar opposites, either fishing super slow like a snail or fishing super fast, depending upon, again, the water clarity conditions are the main considerations with that. But anyway, guys, it's sort of something you're going to have to get used to, because it's not going to go down. I mean, unless people just quit fishing, which I don't see that coming, it's going to probably, you're going to have to incorporate that or equate that into your techniques a little bit more. But main thing, guys, is just downsize. You can't go wrong. Like I said, that's probably even more important than the actual technique, but that's been the things that have worked for me over the years. Stay away from those larger lures, stay away from the bright colored lures, the aggressive type colors. They just don't really bite those too good under pressured conditions. So anyway, I hope it helps out. We'll talk later.